Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Gospel Guitar Lesson. We're on part 5 already, so thanks so much to everyone who's been coming back and checking out these lessons and for your guys' support. I hope you guys have taken some really useful stuff away from these lessons, not just for your gospel playing, but just for your guitar playing in general. So I know I've had a lot of fun teaching these lessons, and like I said, I just hope you guys have been able to take away some useful stuff for this that has helped your playing out. For today's lesson, we're going to be taking a look at kind of the continuation, like a direct continuation of part 4. So if you guys haven't seen that already, you're going to want to go back and check that out to kind of make sure that you guys are up to speed with some of these concepts we're going over. Because today we're going to be taking a look at the minor chord fragments. As last time we were going through checking out some major stuff, but this time we're going to be working just with some minor fragments. So I'm really excited about these because I'm also going to be going over some gospel / R&B type slides that you can do, kind of double note slides and stuff to give a really nice, kind of like I said, like gospel R&B type of sound. So at any rate, yeah, like I said, if you haven't, go back and check out part 4, and if you already have, let's get started on these fragment ideas. So basically we're still going to be in C. Last time we were in C major. This time we're just going to be working with C minor. And if you guys didn't know this, the only difference between a major and a minor chord is the third is flatted. What that means for guitarists is it's just down 1 fret. So for all these major chord shapes, chord fragments I should say, like the C, the C's, and then also the skip string, wherever our third was, we're just going to find that and bring it down by 1 fret. So we're going to start on, turn up my guitar just a sec here. We're going to start on where we had started last time, doing the bar, so just the root and then the major third. Okay, so our third is the highest note we hear, so we're going to bring that down by 1 fret. And I'm going to play that with my middle on the G, pointer on the B at the 4th fret. And that's going to be the root and a minor third. Okay, up to the next shape that we had. It was this shape at the 9th and 8th frets. And this is the 3rd and the 5th. Okay, so here's our third right here. Going to bring that down by 1 fret. Okay, and then that is going to be our flat third and then our 5th. Okay, so again for this one, you have to think of the chord not from the root, but from the minor third if you want to move the shape around. So like F minor, the minor third of F minor is A flat. So here would be for this one. And then the minor third of like G minor would be B flat. Okay, and then we're back up to C minor right here. And you guys might already know this, I don't know if you do or not, but if you have like a power chord or just a root and a 5th, you don't have to change anything for that because there's no minor third in it. So it's technically not major or minor. So our third shape on adjacent strings was this. Okay, and then we have all 3 of those shapes. Okay, now on the skip strings. So we're going to start with our root and then our 5th again. Okay, and obviously that doesn't have to change because there's no third in it. Then our next major shape was this. Now we're going to take the middle where it was, move it down 1 fret, so on the 8th fret of the G. Ring is going to be on the 8th fret of the high E. Then right here we're going to have the minor third, and then root is on top. Okay, and then we are going to go up to the next shape, which was this. Okay, major third was on top, so I'm going to replace that with my pointer, 1 fret down. Okay, and then we have all those shapes there. Okay, on the adjacent strings. Okay, and then on the skip strings. Okay, cool. So there is those shapes, and I'd recommend just taking those around like, just a minor progression, maybe just a bar of like C minor, F minor, and G minor, just to get used to them, and trying to find shapes that are close. Like maybe if we just had like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here would be the F minor. 1, 2, 3, G minor, 1, 2, then like throwing skip string shapes in there and all that good stuff, just to get comfortable with just using just the basic shapes. And I'd also even recommend throw that into like playing with larger shapes as well. So you know, if you're just playing like C minor 7, you know, maybe go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So stuff like that, just to kind of get used to using these shapes with larger shapes as well. So and then for moving these across the fretboard onto different sets of strings, the same idea will still apply from last lesson. Okay, so I'm going to kind of leave these up to you just as kind of, you know, I guess a homework assignment to take these across the rest of the set of the strings and find the shapes. So you're going to need to find the major third in each one of the chords from last lesson, take it down 1 fret, and then you will be good to go. So now let's move on to adding some color tones onto these standard shapes, and also sliding them in between the other shapes, and then get on to those kind of gospel R&B type slides. So let's take a look at that now. Alright, so the first tone that we're going to look at adding in is going to be the 9th. And I don't know if you guys have heard like a minor 9 chord sound before. You may have played this E minor 9 before. But it has a really, really sad sound, the 9th on those minor chords. So it's a really pretty tone to add in. So basically, first of all, we're going to take a look at how to add the 9th in by replacing the 3rd. So the 9th is always going to be 1 fret below the minor 3rd. So on this first shape, and I change my fingering around a little bit as well. Okay, next shape. Okay, this one doesn't have a 3rd in it, so we're not going to do that. Skip strings, this one also doesn't have a 3rd. Here's a 3rd on this one. Okay, here's a 3rd on this one. And it's also just nice just to kind of do like a quick little hammer on from the 2nd to the 3rd. Sounds really nice. Okay, so just a nice little move to add in if you're not going to hang on the 2nd for long. You can also add the 2nd 2 frets above the root, and if the 3rd is in that, it's going to add, or if the 3rd is in that, excuse me, it's going to add like a really tense sound. But it can also be really pretty if you just, you know, it just takes a little while to learn where to use that. Okay, so next shape doesn't have a root in it, so we won't do that. This shape has a root, but it doesn't have the 3rd, so it's not as sad sounding. But if we had like a bass player playing the root, you'd kind of hear that quality come out. Okay, next up. This one would be a little bit of a stretch, again 2 frets above the root. Okay, next up. This is going to be a really tense interval for this one, so you just might want to use it in quick passing on that. And then this one doesn't have a root, so we're going to move past that. So there is adding our 2nd into these, and again, you can hang on it for a little bit or just use it to get a little bit of movement, like a hammer on, like a quick hammer on or something like that. So that's usually how I'm using a lot of these passing tones. It's just kind of just like that, just in passing, or a lot of these extensions. So anyways, let's take a look at adding the 4th in now. The 4th on a minor chord is just a lovely tone to add in. It always sounds really good. The 4th or the 11th. Okay, so like a minor 11th chord. So here would be 3 of those. Okay, so it just has a super pretty sound to it. So the 4th is going to be 2 frets above the 3rd, the minor 3rd, or 2 frets below the 5th. Okay, and again, you guys might want to be writing this stuff down just to keep track of it as you first start out exploring these. So 2 frets above the 3rd on our first shape. Okay. 2 frets above the 3rd on our next shape. 2 frets below the 5th. Okay, up here, 2 frets below the 5th. Okay, right here, 2 frets below the 5th. A little bit of a stretch there. Right here, 2 frets above the 3rd. And change my fingering for that. I do a full bar and just skip the middle string because we're on the skip strings right now. Okay, then up here we have a 3rd and a 5th, so we can do 2 frets above or 2 frets below. Okay, so there is our 4th, and then lastly we're going to take a look at adding the minor 7th in. So for right now, I'm not really thinking of like, I know we could also add the 6th in, we could do flat, or think of it like we're in Dorian, so this type of sound. Okay, but I'm just kind of covering just minor 7th chords just for now. We'll take a look at adding the Dorian note in just a sec quickly if you guys want to experiment with that. Because just for right now, I'm just kind of thinking of just straight minor 7th sounds. So at any rate, we can think of the 7th as being 2 frets below the root. Okay, this one doesn't have a root, so we won't add it in right here. Okay, or we could think of the 7th as being 3 frets above the 5th. Okay, and this is also really nice. So below the root, above the 5th, 3 frets above. Okay, 2 frets below the root, 3 frets above the 5th. Okay, right here, 2 frets below the root, 3 frets above the 5th. Sorry if this is getting confusing. 2 frets below the root. Okay, and then let's see, 3 frets above the 5th, which would be kind of a stretch. You can also play it like this. Okay, and then there is our 7th. And then to add the 6th into these, thinking of like Dorian, just the natural 6, so that type of sound, we could think of that as being 2 frets above our 5th if we wanted to add it in, so you can experiment with that. You know, experiment with these, find some cool moves, some cool shapes, and you know, these are just a lot of fun to experiment around with, and you can find so many interesting ideas with this. If you know, one more quick idea for these is with these minor chords, you can also take the relative major chord fragments as well. So like if we're in C minor, we could also take the shapes for E flat major. So we got all those shapes available to us to also throw in along with our C minor shapes. Or like if we're in A minor, we can also take, you know, the standard A minor shapes, but we can also take the C major shapes as well, the relative major, and that will all work too. So that's pretty cool, and you know, like I said before, that can just lead to limitless possibilities. So you know, you can experiment with that stuff forever and come up with some pretty neat ideas for sure. Okay, so the last thing I want to cover is the kind of gospel / R&B type of slides. And for doing these slides, what I like to think of is, well, first of all, we need to go over the shape. So they're always going to be, let's see, they're always going to be sliding fourths. Okay, so I'm going to have to show you these on each set of strings, just so you can kind of, you guys can get started using these shapes. So let's take a look at those now. All right, so really quickly, guys, let's just cover these sliding fourth shapes. I'll show you kind of the theory behind this first of all, and then we'll go over the shapes. For these shapes, basically what we're going to be looking for, and again you're going to want to write this down, is for minor chords, we're going to be looking for the minor 7th, or the flat 7, and then also the minor 3rd. And that's going to be kind of our target note that we can slide these around from. So here's what the shapes are going to look like. On every set of strings besides the G and the B, we're going to have this sort of shape. It's just going to be a bar on adjacent strings, okay? And it's just going to always slide up 2 frets. So that sort of thing, okay? And on the G and the B strings, it's going to look like that, only for the bar, we're going to have to bring, I'll just show you on the G and the B strings. First of all, it's going to be pointer finger 3rd fret of the G, middle finger 4th fret of the B. Okay, that's what the shape is always going to look like on the G and B strings. So again, we just slide that up 2 frets. Okay, now we're back to normal for all of the rest of the set of strings. Okay, so those are what the shapes are going to look like. Now again, depending on what minor chord we're playing, we're just going to find, again, I target the top note in those little shapes. So the highest note is my target note that I'm looking for, and I just slide the force around from that. So whatever minor chord I'm playing, I'm always looking for the minor 3rd or the flat 7, and then I just do that little slide. So like right here I've got a minor 3rd, can do that little slide. Right here I've got a minor 7th, can do that, minor 3rd up here. Okay, and then you can just kind of add those in, and it sounds really nice to just add into your rhythm playing. Let's say we're playing like an F minor chord, okay? The minor 7th would be E flat, so I can target it right here. The minor 3rd would be A flat. Okay, let's say we had G minor. The minor 3rd would be B flat. Okay, and then the 7th would be F. And then back home to C minor again. So that will always work. And then if we're doing, we can do that same thing with major chords as well. If we're playing like C major 7 or whatever, I just think of from the root, we can basically, we can target either the 5th as the highest note we hear. Okay, so it'll either be the 5th or it'll be the root as the highest note we hear. And again, that shape will still be the same for the rest of the string sets. So that's kind of the R&B type of slide, and you can take that and throw it into your playing and experiment with that and try to get some interesting sounds out of that. And that's really nice, just to take like a really quick little lead break and then get right back into your playing again. So anyways, yeah, that's kind of the ideas, the minor shapes, and then kind of our little R&B / gospel type kind of lead slide, just to break up your rhythm playing a little bit. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. We didn't quite have time to get to our 3-string shape, so we'll probably have to get into that next week. And then I think the week after we'll start going over some popular gospel chord progressions, so you guys can start putting all this stuff together and start making some music with all these ideas we've been going over. So yeah, at any rate, I hope you guys have had fun and enjoyed this lesson. There's a lot of material, actually the last 2 lessons I should say, because they tie in so closely together. So it's a lot of material to cover for sure, but I hope you guys can implement all this stuff into your playing, and that it really helps you guys out and makes good sense. So any questions, feel free to comment, and I will get back to you guys as soon as I can. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys back here next week. Thanks so much.